Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everyone to another episode of Sisters Hour. If this is your first time following us, a huge and warm welcome to you. Welcome. It's a huge honor and pleasure to have you watching Sisters Hour. But if you're a regular viewer, if you've been following us for a while now, welcome back. Um, some of you may know that Sisters Hour is one of the many programs that's hosted by the Suffa Educational Foundation, which is the first registered charity in the UK dedicated to serving the Malay community in the UK and abroad. And we focus on this community in all matters concerning religious, social, and educational welfare. If you are interested in learning more about us, please do check out our social media pages, our Facebook, our Instagram, to see the latest programs and updates. And as always, you are most welcome to join. Back to Sisters Hour. So Sisters Hour is a program that was born during the pandemic. It's a safe and open platform that invites Muslim women around the world to share their personal stories. And alhamdulillah, over the past year, we've had 55 women come on. Now, these women are from different backgrounds, different roles, and they have, from different ages, and they've come on to share their stories of strength, their passion, their faith, and stories of hope. And we really hope that these stories inspire you in your everyday life. We hope that these stories encourage you to become the best version of yourself. And we hope that this platform connects you with your fellow Muslim women. And alhamdulillah, for the past couple of weeks, we've been continuing our series called Careers Under the Spotlight. Now, this series is about bringing women in the marketing and the media industry and just passing the microphone and bringing the spotlight onto them and shining a light on the women who are on the television, who you see on the screen. And we've been blessed to host a number of decorated, talented females. And today's guest is no exception, and she's just going to continue this amazing series. With me today is Nadiah Nazri, who is a marketing manager at Grab. For those who don't know, Grab is a e-hailing company that has actually overtaken Uber in Southeast Asia. So it's a huge app, huge company, and it's grown over the years. And with it is a award-winning marketing team. And at the very center, in the midst of this pioneering marketing team is Nadiah, and she will be sharing her story and her experience of what she does on a day-to-day basis to spearhead their campaigns. It's a very special episode actually because not only is Nadiah an amazing woman, very talented marketing manager, she's also my sister-in-law. So for me, it is literally an hour with my sister and just learning more about her and learning more about her job. We do hope you enjoy it. And as always, please do follow and share along. I will now invite Nadiah onto Sisters Hour. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Hi.
Thank you so much, Nadiah, for coming on Sisters Hour. It's such a pleasure to have you. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. Just finished my dinner. It's nighttime over here in Malaysia. But life's good. It always is on the weekends. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Life really starts during the weekend. And I know it's crazy world of marketing. I know how busy and how big Grab is. And we just want to start off this session with you just giving us a brief explanation of what you do and what role you have and how you've ended up at Grab. What's your story?
Sure. Okay, so I've been at Grab for 3 years now. And the role that I look after is the mobility marketing portfolio. So what this is basically it covers our transport service and also delivery service. So those in Malaysia probably be familiar with Grab Car and Grab Express. Those are the brand names. And previously, I did hold a different portfolio. So I was the brand manager for about 2 years plus. So I sort of recently changed portfolios just in March. So it's been quite an exciting change for me because I went from a heavily communications role to now, owning a vertical where there's P&L involved. I have to look at a lot of numbers. I have to look after supply as well. So actually, it's the past couple of months have actually been quite a stretch for me as a marketer. But it is in line with my goal, which is to be a bit more of a balanced marketer, to be able to do communications very well, but also demand generation and driving the business. So if I can kind of probably go back a couple of years, to how I came to I guess a career in marketing. To be honest, I sort of stumbled upon it. My background academically was design, actually. Yeah, so I did a diploma in architecture. So I was keen in art and physics and maths, and I thought, okay, what's sort of a combination that makes sense out of these subjects? And I thought, okay, architecture seems kind of cool. I was dreaming big. I was admiring a lot of buildings, around the world. But after going through the process of the diploma architecture, which was actually quite an unconventional program. So there was a lot of experimentation. We worked a lot in the workshops. So we made stuff. We made all sorts of stuff out of wood, metal, etc. And I just found that I really enjoyed making things, with my hand, like smaller things, but super functional, very aesthetic. So after that, I actually diverted. So I didn't go into an architecture degree, but instead I went into industrial design and technology. So I completed this degree in Loughborough University, and that process was definitely a lot of fun for me. As somebody who is very much a creative person, a lot more, I skewed towards that much more. The degree was quite well balanced lah. So we got to do a lot of styling, but at the same time, because for every coursework, you're basically putting together the manufacturing plan of a consumer product, all the way to actually designing, styling what it looks like, and then putting a name to it. You have to come up with like a tagline for it, and even some promotional materials. So during the entire process, I was always more fascinated with the, why was there a need for that product to begin with? So i.e., the market research, the consumer research. And then I had, a lot of fun, and I would spend a lot more time in, beautifying it and coming up with, the brand name and doing up the posters. So I guess from there, I kind of like started warming up towards marketing. And then after I graduated, it was a tough year. It was a double recession in the UK, and it was tough to get a job. But one of my feats was, being interviewed at Dyson. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, very nice.
With that under my belt. And then I went for a careers fair in London, but it was a Malaysian careers fair. So that's where I got my first job, which was at Telkom, a telco. So that was where I started working. I spent about 2 years there, and then I moved on to an e-commerce company. So that was super exciting because I was basically one of 16 pioneer members who...
Incredible.
So we built the foundation of the company, we launched it, and really as a marketer, there's nothing more rewarding than actually bringing something from scratch, and seeing all your concepts, your ideas come to life, and people being able to experience it. So that was really cool. So my stint at the e-commerce company was, about 2 years plus. And then I left my role there to join Grab, basically.
And you've been there for 3 years now.
Yes. So I didn't think I was gonna last so long, because the pace at Grab was very different. I was always at very fast moving companies. Like the e-commerce company was very much a startup, right? So it was a lot of hustling. But at Grab, it was that, and also it's a very high performance driven company. So you really can't afford to, I suppose, kind of take it easy. Every meeting is quite intensive. A lot of decisions being made. But all in all, seeing as I'm still at Grab and still enjoying my role, still loving the brand, feeling a connection with the brand. So that's why I'm still here.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, the fact that you're still there, even though you didn't think you were going to last, shows how credible you are and how talented you are in the marketing industry. And for those viewers, I actually did a quick Google search about Grab just to find out more about it. And you said, Nadiah, that it's really intensive and it's a fast-performing company. Right now, it stands to be valued at $40 billion. So I understand why each meeting is an important meeting. Each meeting is an intense meeting because the figures are huge and there's no space for you to maybe take a break. With that being said, I mean, what does a typical day look like for you? Can you share what your day looks like?
Sure. So an average day would be largely revolving around planning for campaigns. So we do spend a significant amount of time planning, because you have like to one campaign, there's a lot of elements to it. There's the creative, the communications part, and then there's the promotional part where there's a lot of calculation that goes into it. You have to liaise with multiple departments to align on the goals, the business objectives. So I would say most of the time is spent there. But
communicating.
But also other things that goes on would be reviewing creatives, visuals, copy that goes out as our adverts, and also at the same time, campaigns that have already launched, we do spend time into looking at how we can optimize it. Especially if they run on digital platforms. We work with agencies to and they will share with us reports on how the campaigns are performing, and then we'll make tweaks or we'll make some changes in order to optimize to make it perform even better. And I would say that sort of sums up what happens in a day.
So it sounds as if it's almost like a cyclical process. It's a circular process, and you're either kind of starting up one or you're just reviewing another one and its performance and making tweaks. So your day definitely sounds very busy, very hands-on. But I wanted to ask, you've been in the marketing industry now for a couple of years, straight out of university as a graduate. Can you share with us some of the highlights of your career so far? What has been a special moment for you?
Okay. I would say the first one would be when I was at the e-commerce company. So I touched on this a little bit earlier, how we were there, starting it from scratch and launching it. And I was the brand manager at the time. So I was in charge with project managing the launch event, which was huge. We did it at this mall, and we had a turnout of about 10,000 people. And that's largely thanks to the Korean superstar that was our brand ambassador. So I also
Korean ambassador. So you had a Korean ambassador.
Yeah. So I worked with Lee Min Ho, if anybody's familiar. So he's a pretty huge deal. He's an actor from Korea, and not so much of a highlight, but definitely it was a really new experience for me. Also working with celebrities. It taught me a lot of things. I would say that's sort of that's an experience I gained throughout the process. But I would say a real highlight for me was basically launching this brand from nothing, and we shot up the charts in terms of like visits to the website, the top of mind awareness, which is how you measure how much people are aware of your brand. We managed to surpass the other players who had been around for at least like two years before we came around. So we reached all these highs, and so that's definitely one of the highlights. Another one, I guess, at Grab. Prior to this chat, of course, I sort of like did a little bit of a walk down memory lane to kind of see what were the projects I was involved with. We honestly did a lot of things, and I guess the most recent highlight is just last month there was an award show called the FE Awards. So it's basically the preeminent award for marketing effectiveness. So among among marketers, among advertising agencies, this is the awards you want to win, basically. So we actually
So
managed
is
to.
it like the Oscars of marketing then? Is that how big
Yeah,
it is?
yeah, correct. It's basically the most preeminent. So we actually we did really well, and we won Brand of the Year.
Oh,
Basically
congratulations.
the coveted award. Thank you. So we'd never gotten anywhere near being Brand of the Year, because basically to get that award you have to win in multiple categories. So of course, having bagged that, we also got 8 other awards from the same body. Um, so that was a pretty huge win, because Grab has been around for a while, but not necessarily up there in terms of brands that do really impactful campaigns, really memorable stuff. So this was a huge recognition lah. So that's definitely a huge highlight, and it's a really nice way to remember all the cool campaigns that we did throughout last year and this year.
Can you share with us maybe one of your favorite campaigns? What's something that you really enjoyed doing and you enjoyed sharing?
Sure. So one campaign that we did with our drivers community was particularly with our deaf drivers community. So we ran this campaign. It was basically to tell the story from the point of view of a deaf driver, and the objective was to raise awareness about the deaf community in general. So you'd be surprised, right? But when we ran a survey, people did feel less safe being driven by a deaf driver. But actually, as a matter of fact, statistically, they're safer on the road. There's less accidents involving deaf drivers because their sight is heightened. So they actually, you could argue that they are better drivers than hearing ones. So we managed to tell the story of this driver, and after we ran the campaign, the awareness level of Grab, being a source of income for deaf community went up, which was one of the also the objective of the campaign. But also, most importantly, people perceived it very well. Of course, apart from that video, we launched other things to supplement it. For example, we created small sign language dictionary clips in our app, so that and then we encourage passengers who go into a car, with the deaf driver, to try to interact with them. So we taught things about how to increase my aircon, or to say stop right here in sign language. So there was a lot of engagement that we saw from people. So we knew that we did it in a way that was engaging and relevant, and actually got people to interact more, and break the communication barrier, basically.
That sounds like an amazing campaign, to be able to almost put the spotlight on this community and just show how capable and how credible they are as drivers. And you said they're actually statistically more safer. So to almost bring that awareness out to people who use the app is amazing. And I love the fact that actually you went not only just to raise awareness for this community, but to make the experience more inclusive. Some people, I can imagine, when they do have a driver who can't hear, they may feel a bit awkward. How do I communicate? But for you to include a booklet to encourage them to extend their communication skills to them, that's really incredible. And I think that almost heightens and makes the society more inclusive. So congratulations on that. It sounds like a really amazing campaign.
Thank you. And we also wanted to kind of point out how, it's actually really simple things that you can do, by just being a little bit more proactive, that can make a huge difference, because it does make a huge difference also to the deaf community as I started to learn more and more about them. Even a small gesture for you to be able to say thank you, which is
this gesture. How do you say thank you?
Yeah. This is from your chin and outwards. Yeah.
Chin and outwards.
So even the smallest gestures, they really appreciate it. So we wanted to also show, we can include all these clips and stuff in the app, but hopefully beyond that, people will continue to be proactive and break this communication barrier.
That, it's a really cool campaign because I'm comparing it to obviously one of your competitors, Uber, which you kicked out, and we haven't really seen a company do a marketing campaign about raising social awareness of disabilities. So I feel as if Malaysians now are more inclusive. They know a bit of sign language, so it's a cool space to be in. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
So we talked about the highs, the great parts of your career so far. Now let's kind of shift it a bit and ask you kind of what are the low parts, what are the challenges in the marketing industry?
Yeah, this is an interesting question. I'll start with kind of like a more day-to-day challenges, right? So I think for anybody that works in an end consumer product company, or end consumer service company, and those who especially work in the marketing department, I think it can feel sometimes like you're a doctor on call, because
almost in demand, huh?
Yeah, because especially with social media, right? There's no switch off button. A customer can just easily just drop a comment that goes viral, from an experience that they have with one of our services, whatever. And for Grab, our stakeholders are many, right? So they're customers, they're our delivery partners, our drivers. So anything, you do kind of there is a little bit of an anxiety that anything can kind of go wrong or and kind of explode. But so that kind of keeps you on your toes. And of course, sometimes it happens. And you have to just react very fast and be prepared, I suppose, to kind of to work at maybe sometimes unusual hours. So there's that kind of uncertainty. I think other challenges with working in marketing is especially with the new normal, there are a lot of volatile things. Again, the same theme of uncertainty. For example, like now we're in Malaysia, we're going through the third lockdown at the moment, and you would think that the patterns are kind of similar between different lockdowns, but actually it isn't. So there's a lot of like other macro factors that take place. So what you might be planning based on like for example, planning this year's last year based on last year, that doesn't work anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because SOPs change, so you have to be super agile, and you can't be flustered if you want to kind of work in marketing and be on top of everything. Yeah, and I guess I would sum those up as being the kind of like day-to-day challenges with working in the marketing.
It
department.
sounds what's good. You forget how important marketing is when everything goes wrong, like when a tweet goes viral, when an experience is shared online, it could make or break a company at that moment. So you're right in saying, like, actually, you have to work fast, you have to work agile, you have to work, responsive, you have to be, active. So it sounds as if you have huge responsibility in what happens next. Like, how is it going to be reacted? So would you say that there's a lot of odd hours, a lot of communication outside of your normal working hours then?
I wouldn't say it's a norm.
Okay.
I think after all this time we have some structure in place, and when, for example, if something goes viral that's a bit negative, there's already sort of the process that we can go through. Nobody's jumps around at it anymore lah. Not by this point.
From experience then.
Yeah, we do. And I think also we try to, we have, from all the experience, we're able to kind of preempt also. Like when we go out with a certain communication, make sure we cover, we cover the bases. We offer more information, in case it's unclear, or we basically avoid questions by being very, very, very transparent in our communication in the first place lah. So yeah, I would say those happens once in a while, but in marketing, that's probably one of the differences lah, versus you working in probably in like the product side, where you're cut off from you're not the front line basically for your brand.
And you forget how much work goes into producing one of these campaigns. So I guess people forget that there's actually a huge team involved who are responsible for every moment and every part of the cycle. So I feel rest assured that you have a team on standby who can help at any point. Now, you actually mentioned previously that you won a really prestigious award, very much like the Oscars, the marketing Oscars. How did that make you feel? And how has that inspired you going forward now?
I think, I mean, definitely when we heard news that we might be winning something, I was very, obviously I was elated. I think, in this industry, in marketing, because it's so fast moving, you kind of just churn work out, and then you already, after that's done, you kind of move on to the next campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't much, window for you to kind of feel that sense of achievement necessarily. So these awards do help in terms of just kind of like putting a stamp of recognition on all the hard work. It's a huge pat in the back, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
And what we make sure that we do is, a win is basically a reflection of the entire company. It's not just, the team that's worked on it. It's the entire department and the product that enabled it. So normally when we have these, we win these kind of awards, we try to celebrate with everybody. We let everybody in the company know, and we share the win with them, basically.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I mean, definitely it also, gives you some, more motivation, I suppose, to create even better work in the future. Yeah.
That's incredible. And how did you celebrate then? So you first time winning this prestigious award, how did you celebrate personally?
So we were all at home tuning
Mm-hmm.
in, but we created like a Zoom call, basically. So we all we tried to watch it at the same time. But then it was funny because the connection was really fuzzy, because I was basically streaming a Facebook for my colleagues to see via Zoom. So you can imagine, like, how poor the transmission was. So we all kind of ended up just chatting away in Zoom, sharing our feelings, but everybody watches on their respective laptops. But and also it's so different to when I used to attend awards physically.
Mm-hmm.
Because typically you would dress up. So these are like exactly like you said. It's like the Oscars for marketing and advertising. So people dress up. You go and then you have really nice meal because you do it at hotels and stuff. So last time I did this was in 2019. So, and that was really nice. I mean, we won one award. We won a silver for one of our for our Raya campaign. But we were like super happy because obviously when you're celebrating with people, it makes that celebration that much more meaningful, right? You take pictures with the trophy. So this time it was super mellow, which is so ironic because we won a lot of awards, and we won the coveted award. And everybody was just kind of like, everybody moved on probably in half an hour.
Oh no.
But of course, we shared it on our social accounts, and we wanted everybody to hear about it too. Obviously,
I feel as if that's the way you celebrate awards in at this time now in 2021. Like, you share your screen with another screen, and you're trying to live stream everything, and within half an hour it's kind of like mellow down, and you're kind of you're back into your normal routine. But I hope that you do win the next kind of face-to-face award when the award ceremonies are open up and you can go in person. So I do hope that you get the opportunity to collect another trophy with your colleagues.
Thank you, inshallah.
Inshallah, that can be a motivation, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We're actually nearing to the end of our session, and I just wanted to ask you if there's any advice that you'd like to share with the viewers, especially those who are seeking or who is interested in joining the marketing industry. What are your kind of top tips for them?
Okay. I would say, if you're still at early stages of figuring out whether you want to go into the marketing career, maybe you just finished, just graduated and looking for your first jobs, I would say, ask yourself these three questions, whether you have these three traits in you, right? So first is that you ought to be somebody who can communicate ideas very well and with a passion. In other words, you can sell an idea to a person. Second is that you have a creative and open-minded mindset in approaching problems, approaching solution. And then thirdly is that you are a good observer of people, a good observer of communities, maybe different demographics of the community. So I'd say if you have all, these three traits or strengths, then, you definitely have the potential to be a great marketer. And if you're already sort of in the in that career track, and maybe feeling a little bit unsure, even I myself, did at one point sort of wonder whether marketing was the right thing for me. Even as I was in the middle of my career, to me it was about look at the brands that's available for you. For example, if you're looking out for work and you have a couple of options, look for the brand that shares similar values as you.
So important.
Yeah, it's so important because with marketing, you have to be passionate about what you're promoting, right? Otherwise, if you don't believe in it, how are you going to make somebody else believe in it? So definitely look for work somewhere where it's a brand that you believe in and share similar values as you, because that will help tremendously, in the long run, especially if you come across challenges or obstacles, then you can always go back to your purpose, right? So that's in terms of like choosing what brand or what company to go for. And then a last sort of tip, something that you can think about is, marketing is an expensive area, right? There's so many expertise, different focus areas, different skills. So you should try to find your strongest trait, and pursue that. So for example, you might be more of a analytical, data-centric person. So that maybe within marketing, your role could be in marketing analytics or market research. Whereas if you're more of a creative person, and your strength is communications, and you like selling ideas, pitching ideas, then you're probably more of a kind of branding, communications centric marketer. So yeah, within marketing, it's a huge spectrum of stuff you can do. Even if you talk about brand marketing, there's then the kind of like focus on social. There's some brands who purely build their brands on social platforms. So that's sort of like I guess like a specialty that you could go into. So even for myself, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, I'm now kind of expanding my skills, right? Having been in the brand and communication stream for a long time, I'm now expanding my breadth and learning about how to really do marketing to drive the business, right? And for me, it's not just about looking at generating demand. It's actually looking at balancing supply and demand. Yeah, which is a whole other interesting thing. So maybe if you are feeling like unsure about the current role in marketing that you have, explore sort of other areas of marketing that's possible for you. Yeah, so that would be my tips. Hopefully that's helpful to whoever's out there that's listening.
It's super helpful, because for me, I don't really know much about marketing, but you've just highlighted the different types of marketing roles that you can have. So thank you for sharing that. And for those who are interested in going into marketing, take Nadiah's tips. Make sure you're passionate about it. Make sure you share the same values. Make sure you can sell, you can communicate, you can solve problems, and definitely explore what the industry can offer you. So that's just me kind of recapping what Nadiah has shared with us. Thank you so much. That's a really great tips. I really enjoyed the one that you said, make sure you share the same values. And when I was doing my kind of research or background, they're really passionate about making inclusive. So and not just, I mean you're better at this anyway, but like you mentioned, making inclusive for their disabled drivers, making their consumers more inclusive as well. So those are great morals to stand by.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say that's probably one of my favorite things about working at Grab lah. It's not just a consumer marketing. We don't just do consumer marketing activities. We get to work really closely with our merchants, with our drivers, and drivers from all types of backgrounds. So that gives us the opportunity to really feel like we're creating social impact that impacts everybody. Not just our end consumers.
Fantastic. You know what? You're so you do your job so well that you're making me want to look at like job vacancies at Grab. Like, what's available? What can we do there?
Come back.
Definitely, I'll definitely look into it now. That's actually, we're at the end of our session, and I just want to thank you, Nadiah, for coming on and for sharing your expertise, your experience, and your journey in your career. It's been an absolute pleasure learning from you and being inspired by what you do. Any last words?
I guess I just want to say, thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure for me to share my experience, and and good luck to the program. I hope a lot of people benefit from this, and I'll definitely be tuning in to all the Sisters Hours, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for coming on, and thank you viewers for joining us. I've had fun speaking to Nadiah. I hope you've enjoyed it as well, and I hope you've learned a lot from her. As always, please do check out our social media pages to get the latest updates, and do follow us. And as always, also do consider donating as well. Any donations that you provide will go back into all the programs and all the services that we provide to the community. That is it. I just want to say once again, thank you so much, Nadiah, for coming on. I hope you have a good weekend. Have a good night as well, because I know it's quite late in Malaysia. And to all the viewers, thank you so much, and Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.